Hello, Aries. Welcome to Cosmic Cassie. This is going to be your September monthly reading. We are going to look at money and love in this reading. I'm going to keep these short and sweet and simple. So if there are anything that comes up here that you guys want me to explore further in a different reading, then leave it in the comments. And if there's enough comments and requests for it, then I will do a separate reading for it. Aries. Just so you know, I did finish setting up my website. It's called cosmiccassie.com, and that is now the only place that you can purchase a service or a product from me. So definitely check the website out if you are feeling guided to or wanting to have a more personal private reading. That is where you will find the ability to do that. As always, this is general, so do not take it unless it resonates. I am a psychic intuitive channeler, which means I get a lot of messages in a lot of different ways, and so sometimes I can get really personal and deep with the message. So please do not take it if it is not resonating with your soul, your life, your storyline. It's gotta feel right, okay? Let's go ahead and jump in, Aries, and see. We'll start with money. What does Aries need to know about their money in September? What does Aries need to know about their money in September? Ooh, what are you guys holding on to that's creating a financial block? That's kind of what I'm getting with that. Release money. Can you get more specific than that? Okay. Aries, it feels like you guys are holding on to something that is blocking you when it comes to your financial abundance, your ability to create abundance, your ability to attract money and to have these opportunities and to get like financially stable and like in a good place and just get more money. It feels like there's something here that we're holding on to. It does feel emotional. There's an emotional blockage here. But it's not like an internal block where it's like, oh, you need to heal that. Well, technically you need to heal everything, but it's like this feels like we're actually holding on to something that's creating an emotional block for us, okay? Let me see if we can look at this a little bit more. What needs to be released? What needs to be released? Oh my God, can we get more on point? Emotions. What needs to be released? Where are these emotions coming from? And this does feel like it's emotions tied into a person here. So I don't know if you're like bitter, upset, angry, frustrated, sad, grieving, hatred, whatever it is. It does feel like there's a very intense emotion that you have about something. And it's like really difficult for you to, almost, what I'm hearing is analyze the emotion. And then I hear trigger warning. So I don't know if that's because you're being so emotional that you can't like logically or like in a grounded kind of way look at how you're understanding or perceiving something here that's creating that emotion for you. And it's almost like it's so triggering that it's making you so emotional because it's so triggering for you that you can't, like, it's like you're lost in the emotion of it. Like you can't find your way and separate yourself from the emotion you're feeling right now, because it's like whatever happened was so triggering. Whatever occurred, it's like it was deeply triggered here, something in you. And now we're holding on to how we feel about what happened, and we can't let it go because we're so lost in the emotion of it. I feel like it unearthed a lot of things for you. Okay, that's what I'm hearing is like it's like it opened the coffin door up for you. So whatever happened here, it's like it's not even, you may think that your emotions are centered around like this person or situation, but it's actually more like the person or situation triggered you in an emotional way where you're actually feeling a lot of like deeply buried or suppressed emotions from other situations, from other people. It's like it's not all this person. This person was like the catalyst to all those emotions finally coming to arise and in your face and in your conscious awareness, and now we're lost in the emotion because it's like there was so much there and it all came in at once that now we can't find our way out of it. We're holding on to what happened, and it's like we need to have a different perspective. We need to see this situation in a more like less emotional, more logical way so that we can finally release it. And by releasing that situation, it actually heals and releases us from a lot of these like suppressed and buried emotions that are very similar to what happened. with this situation here. Okay, I hope you guys are following this, but it's like being able to not necessarily heal, but being able to see it in a different way and accept it. It's like we need a perspective to accept what happened, and like it's like, oh my god, this logically does make sense why it happened this way. Like this actually makes complete 100% sense. But like you can't come to that conclusion, or like you can't use your reasoning right now, you can't use your logic right now, because you're just so overtaken by the emotional reaction that you have, that it's like we can't even see that this made sense. Like this was a logical thing to have happened. Like this actually factually makes sense that it happened this way. Okay, if I can get an example here. Okay, it's like I'm hearing something about a car. So it's like if we're driving and the tire goes flat, it's like we're so lost in the emotional upheaval that I just got a flat tire that I can't logically think and be like, you know what? I knew that tire had a hole in it. I knew that it was already like no tread on it. I knew that it was a damaged, like used old tire. Like I already knew that this tire was in terrible condition and I shouldn't have been driving on it. I knew all these things already, so it totally would make sense that it would go flat. Like it actually makes a lot of sense that it would go flat. It's like logically it makes complete sense why this happened. But where you're at is like someone slashed my tire probably when I, and then I started driving and now it's flat. Or you know what, it's that construction over there, all those nails and glass. I'm gonna sue them because I probably drove over something that made it go flat. Or you know what, maybe it was like the streets, and I'm gonna sue the city for the potholes that I went over because they probably are what. It's like you're so lost in the emotion of what's going on that you're not even seeing the fact that, like, no, there's a very logical and like grounded understanding and reasoning for why things happen the way they did. Like it actually makes sense. And once you can finally bring your emotions down and release those emotions, like release the situation by accepting that, no, this actually made sense why this happened. Like I'm actually in agreement with it. Surprise, surprise. If I think about it hard, I actually would agree. And it actually, like, it was the right thing. It's like we can get on the other side of the fence. When we do that, it almost creates a different catalyst where instead of it bringing up all these other emotions, because like the buried and suppressed emotions and deep emotions that this brought up was like it triggered you, and then you start getting all flustered and frustrated and upset about all the cars you've ever had and how grimy people have put tires that were used and not new, and all the damage of all the cars, and oh my god, and then all these people that like have been in accidents and have hit my car, and it's like then you start going down this whole line of remembering all these like things that you wouldn't give emotion to, and all of a sudden now you're giving emotion to them because like you didn't work through the emotions when it happened. You just kind of let it go and suppressed it and pushed it down, and all those things are suddenly coming up from this one event, from this one thing happening, where it's like if we could come to a logical place and actually accept and agree and understand, like with reason, why this happened, it creates a different catalyst where all those things that have come up, we start to actually realize. It's like there's an epiphany moment in here, because then we start to realize like, oh, you know what, it actually makes sense why those things happen. Like it's like all of a sudden we start to think in a different way, and it's like in a less emotional way, I can actually understand why every one of those events happened, why all these other things in the past have occurred the way they did. It's like, oh wow, it's like a domino effect. Like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm seeing. This is reminding me of the super moon. There's a moon reading that I did. Maybe it was for Aries. I think maybe it was for Aries. It could have been for a different sign, but it was like the same thing where it's like they're having this full moon energy on August 30th is bringing in like this epiphany awareness moment of like, no, I think it was Capricorn. I think it was Capricorn, guys. I think it was Capricorn. The Capricorn. So if you want to check it out, if this is resonating or you have that placement or something like this, it could be resonating because of that. But it's like having this epiphany moment of realizing why everyone sees them in the way they do, because they're having a new perspective, like a moment of like realization of like, this is like in a different perspective, this is actually what it looks like. And so now everything kind of makes sense why it happened the way it did. But you have to get to the different perspective first. But it's like once we do that, then money starts to flow into our lives better. So I don't know if you're going through like financial struggles here, or there's like, it's really difficult to get abundance. It's really hard to manifest money, opportunities. It's like there's a lot of struggle, a lot of blockages going on around money. And it's because we need to release this emotional piece. It's like we need to find a way to get to the other side of the fence, where there's a new perspective that the world is not against us. There's actually a reason why things have happened the way they had, and I'm a part of that, and I have to take accountability and ownership for how I showed up and the reactions that were created because of how I showed up. So it's almost like it's me against the world right now. But it's like we need to get you on the other side of the fence, where it's like, it's not me against the world. It's actually me creating the reactions that I'm experiencing in my life. And it's like once we get this new perspective, we start to look at money in a different way as well. We start to like open doors and windows, and like it's like the breeze comes in. It's like, oh my God, I can smell dollars. Like they're on their way. Like thank goodness I got there. Okay, so Aries, this is something with like, we need to release this emotion. We need to get to this new perspective so that we can actually like start to unlock even more than just money. Like unlock a lot of things. Like be open. Okay, it's like we need to unlock these things and let them come in, but we can only do that by getting a new perspective and like stepping out of so much emotion and more into like the reasoning and the accountability piece of things. Okay, Aries, let's go ahead and look at 11:44 on the timer. So I don't know if that number resonates for you, if you want to look that up. Let's go ahead and look at love for you in September. Okay, so show me love energy. So by the way, the month of September for you guys, I think it's, and again, if you look at that moon reading for August 30th, it's like that energy hits you, and then all of September, you're working through understanding and getting that perspective, and then applying it to a lot of things in your life, and starting to see a change because you're looking and understanding things in a different way. And it's the same for you guys. In September, it's like that energy comes in to help you get like the awareness of the perspective that you need to gain, and then we start to gain the perspective through the month of September. And that's when I feel like the 28th, like towards the end of September, we start to get a different understanding. We start to realize and see things in a very different way, and that's when we start to notice like the energy is shifting for us and around us. Okay, Aries, let's look at love. What does Aries need to know about love in the month of September? What does Aries need to know about love in the month of September? What does Aries need to know about love in the month of September? What does Aries need to know about love in the month of September? Aries, love in September. I always try to let the first card come out be like a card that flips out rather than me pick it, because that's how I know like Spirit is starting that energy off the right way for me. So just kind of be patient, guys. I don't want to start shuffling all sloppy either, where like half the deck falls out. So just bear with me, okay? We have the process and we have gratitude, okay? There is something here. Again, it ties kind of into this perspective that we need to get here, because it's almost like when it comes to love, Aries, there's something here where you may not like, let me just clarify that process, difficulties. There's something here where you experience, and then we have like abundance, and then be open. When it comes to love, Aries, this could be single relationship, it doesn't matter, okay? If it resonates, it resonates. When in a relationship, or single, but it feels like in a lot of your intimate, romantic, like love connections, there is a lack of appreciation for what you and the other person, your partner, has to, like, the burdens that have to be carried and worked on and dealt with to get to a good place. It's like, what's a better way to explain this? It's like so this is the curiosity card, but it's more so the image that they're having me focus on. And so it's almost like, And it's interesting because like when you look at difficulties in the process, the difficulty card has a sliver of the moon, and it's like yellow. And then the process card has the entire moon, but the exact amount of sliver in the difficulty card shows up in the process card, and the rest of the moon is blacked out. And then we have like looking out of the window, and it's like sunny and it's rainbow, and then curiosity comes in, okay? And just to show you guys what I'm talking about with the moons, okay? You see like how the moons, so it's almost like we can look at a relationship, we can look at a connection, we can look at those romantic partners that we have, and we can see and identify and fully understand and comprehend this is what it's going to take in order to build this and create this and put it into a relationship that works for both of us, or develop and grow and move the relationship in a deeper, more sensual, more committed way. It's like anything with the growth of the relationship, okay? It's like you can see this and you understand like what needs to happen with it, but it's like, but as soon as you start to feel pushback, as soon as you start to feel like any hardship, any difficulty, any challenge with getting to that end point, or like actually, doing what you understand needs to be done, we don't show up all the way here. It's like instead we just would rather like look through the keyhole and be like, oh my gosh, you mean I have to like go communicate with her? I have to say that? Or like, oh my gosh, you mean like I have to make time for him? Like I have to actually like stop doing something I love to make time for intimate moments? Like it's like as soon as that challenge or that hardship comes up and it surfaces, even though you understand that's what's required, when it happens and now it's time to take action, it's time to show up for it, you're kind of like, maybe not, like maybe I don't want to. So it's like, so then we never truly feel or like see it's like we never feel the appreciation of the other person working through those difficulties to build a relationship with us. And we can't find gratitude and appreciation in that because we don't do it ourselves, because we don't show up for those. It's like if you don't have experience doing something that's very difficult, how can you have the right level of appreciation for someone who does do it? Because you don't know what they had to do to get it done. So to you it's kind of like, well, someone had to do it. So it's like it's hard for you to appreciate your partners in relationships, because when they're showing up for these difficult and challenging moments, because you don't do that, and it feels like you haven't had a lot of experience doing that, you just don't see it as like important, or it's like you can't recognize the effort that person has done. You don't recognize the level of persistence or motivation or passion or love that they have to have in order to endure this or move through this or solve this. Because like if you haven't experienced doing that yourself, how can you possibly appreciate it when someone else does it if you don't understand the effort that goes into it? Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's like for you, it's like, okay, here's a great example, because this is like what they're giving me as an example. If all your life you've grown up in like a huge, even it doesn't even have to be huge. Okay, if all your life your mother or a maid or someone has always cleaned the entire house, and so all you know is every time I come home everything is clean, every time I've been in my house everything is clean, everything is taken care of, the dishes are done, the floors are swept and mopped, clothes are hung up, the toilets are clean. That's all you know. That's your reality. I just know that the house is clean. Yeah, I know someone cleans it. Yeah, but I just know that it's clean. It's always clean. And then you get into a relationship and that person shows up in that same way for you, but you have absolute like you're not showing appreciation or gratitude or even like trying to contribute and help and assist, because you don't understand what it took or takes for that person to show up in that way, of always cleaning up everything and you doing nothing. It's like you don't understand how much effort and time and like difficulty and burden and whatever it is that this person has to do in order to keep the house in this way. And so when you're like leaving messes everywhere and they just magically disappear, it's like it's hard to appreciate the person's work and effort to keep everything clean and pick up after you and themselves, because you've never experienced being the one that has to do that. Okay, I hope I'm breaking that down in the right way here. So it's like there needs to be an understanding of like, we have to, one, show appreciation when people do things for us when it comes to the matters of love and the heart. It's like, and it's not even for us, it's for the relationship, it's for the connection. There needs to be an understanding of like the appreciation of that and showing the appreciation, and you know, but not just that, it's also us contributing to it, not just letting someone else do all the work because we don't want to do the work and we've never had to, and we'd rather watch it be done than actually do it, even though we know it needs to get done. We know what needs to happen in a relationship for it to be successful. But instead of like just being like, well, they'll do it, they'll take care of it, and then not even appreciating it when they do it, it's like this is a consistent pattern, it feels like, that kind of either weighs the relationship down consistently or prevents you from being in a loving connection and relationship. Okay, so it's like even our love is kind of blocked because there's a lack of the ability to have a different perspective, because we haven't been in someone else's shoes, so we can't fully appreciate and have gratitude and perspective for what that person has to do and go through to be with us, or to be in that relationship, or to keep it going, something like this. So it's like in September, I feel like Aries, there's a lot of energy supporting you guys having like the realizations and maybe even having to do things that you haven't had to do before, so that you can gain a different perspective. It's like you have to do something different to get a different perspective. If you do the same thing you've always done, you will never have a different perspective because you're not experiencing it in a different way. Okay, Aries, again, if you like this video and it resonates for you, please make sure you hit that like button. I definitely appreciate it. Also, if there's anything that I touched on in this reading that you guys want me to do a further, like a deeper read on, leave it in the comments. If there's enough comments, I will go ahead and do that for you guys. Otherwise, if you want a personal reading, you want more clarity on this reading, check out cosmiccassie.com, where you can get a personal reading, or you can get some products, and there's other stuff on there as well. So Aries, that's all I have for you. Thanks. Bye.